active and passive immunity. The syllabus says, distinguish between active and passive, natural and artificial immunity, and explain how vaccination can control disease. Before we start, a very, very brief reminder about the immune system. So, in addition to your external defenses, the immune system has internal defenses in the form of white blood cells, both lymphocytes and phagocytes. They detect antigens on foreign bodies and are stimulated to produce antibodies. The antibodies then interact to destroy the foreign body, usually a pathogen. This diagram shows the process. So here is the pathogen in the body that is recognized by a variety of different things, which mostly the T helper cells, okay? And then depending on what the pathogen is and what response is required depends on what then happens. If it's an extracellular pathogen, i.e. something like a bacteria or a fungus, then the helper cell will divide into a plasma cell that will make lots of immunoglobulins or antibodies. If it is a virus, then it will make cytotoxic T cells, which in turn go and kill the virally infected cell. So, active immunity. This girl here is active because she's doing something. She's dancing very beautifully. The same principle applies to active immunity. You have to do something to get it. In rather more biological terms, that means your body has to make antibodies. Of course, in the process of making antibodies, the body also makes memory cells, which means that if they encounter that antigen again, they release the antibodies much faster, and that is what confers immunity. This man is passive, he's not doing anything, and the same principle applies to the immune system. Passive immunity you just get. So in biological terms, this means that you receive the antibodies directly without having to make them. So, natural active immunity. This occurs when you gain immunity from having the disease. It is active because your body has made antibodies in response to an antigen. It is natural because, well, that's kind of obvious. Artificial active immunity. This occurs when you have a vaccine. It is active because your body has had to make antibodies in response to the antigens on the attenuated, which means weakened, or dead pathogen that's injected into you in the vaccine. But it's artificial because you chose to put it in your body. It hasn't been naturally created. Natural passive immunity is the immunity given to you by your mother when antibodies cross the placenta during pregnancy. It's passive because you have not made antibodies, which means, as I said before, that you will have no memory cells. So this type of immunity is short-lived, as it will only last for the lifespan of the antibodies. It's natural because, well, again, that's obvious. Artificial passive immunity comes from being given the antibodies in a vaccine or from another source, like breast milk. It's passive because the body has not made antibodies, and so there are no memory cells, and it's artificial because it has come from another person or has been deliberately put there. The vaccines themselves come in a variety of different forms, and they play a role in conferring both passive and active immunity. So they're either preparations of antigenic material or antibodies. The preparation of antigenic material are more effective because they make the body have an immune response to the antigens, which means the body makes memory cells, so you get long-term immunity. The antigenic material can either be a dead pathogen or a weakened pathogen, depending on the disease itself. The success of a vaccine will depend largely on the cost, the accessibility, by that whether it needs to be refrigerated or whether it's easy to get hold of, whether it's easy to take, whether a booster is required, and how many people take the vaccine. If you have a successful vaccination program, then large numbers of people will be vaccinated and most of the population will be protected as a result of herd immunity. And now, watch this again if you need to. Perhaps make a note of the 4 key definitions. You could do it in the table form and have a go at questions on page 233 to 236 of your green AS question book.